Hi and Assalamualaikum to my respectful lecturer Dr. Muhammad Afiq Zaki and to everyone who's watching this video. This video is about bioremediation of oil spill in the ocean. But first, let me introduce my groupmate, which is AIDA HARTINI binti AYOB, SABRINA binti HAZLI, and me, Nurul Husna binti Muhammad KHAIRI. So, the topic outline for this video is firstly, the principle that involve in bioremediation. Second is the bacteria that involve in bioremediation, and thirdly, the effects of using bioremediation in our environment. Let's move to the first one, which is the introduction to bioremediation of oil spill in the ocean. Human activity has resulted in the release of liquid petroleum hydrocarbon, which also known as crude oil, into the environment, polluting marine or coastal waterways, shorelines, and land. Liquid petroleum hydrocarbons are a naturally occurring fossil fuel that is generated from dead organic components in the Earth's crust. Oil spills offer major environmental issues since they can pollute the air, water, and land. Large oil spills endanger both land and marine ecosystems. Thus, efforts have been directed toward developing environmentally friendly and cost-effective cleanup procedures. Oh no! Look at these pictures. There's a lot of oil spills in the ocean. Do you know how can we remove this oil from the ocean? The solution is by doing bioremediation. One of the methods of cleaning up oil spills that have been explored is the use of oil-eating or oil-loving, which is oleophilic microbes, a process known as bioremediation. Living organisms such as bacteria and fungi are used in bioremediation to reduce complex chemical compounds, which are often hazardous to the environment. It will turn into simpler molecules which are harmless to the environment. Bioremediation can be in situ, which is treatment at the contaminated site, or ex situ, which is transporting the oil away from the contaminated site to a treatment facility. Bioremediation employs microbial metabolism in the optimal environment with adequate nutrients to break down contaminants using bacteria, fungi, and or green plants. Besides, bioremediation is the process through which native oil-degrading microorganisms consume or break down various components of oil spill in the marine environment. Let's move to the principle that involve in bioremediation. Firstly is bioaugmentation. Bioaugmentation is commonly practiced in the municipal wastewater treatment plants. Microbes are added to activated sludge bioreactors in order to enhance the breakdown of contaminants. Not only that, bioaugmentation is important in clearing fuel contaminants, especially petroleum spill, in soil and water. Secondly is biostimulation. Biostimulation is the stimulation of the existing microorganism in an environment to promote the biodegradation process. In a biostimulation process, the environment is modified in order to stimulate native microorganisms. It is done mainly by adding nutrients such as phosphorus and nitrogen to a contaminated environment to stimulate the growth of the microorganisms. In addition, some electron acceptors and electron donors can be added into that particular environment. Next is the diagram of principle in bioremediation. In this diagram, it shows how bioaugmentation and biostimulation, the process of bioremediation, take place. For bioaugmentation, if the indigenous population of microbes is not capable of fully degrading the contaminants, external source of supermicrobes is applied to the contaminated media along with the nutrients. These externally added microbes multiply and increase in population while degrading the contaminants and using the added nutrients. For biostimulation in bioremediation, the degradation capacity of microbes indigenous to contaminated site is exploited. Usually, appropriate nutrients are applied to the contaminated sites to stimulate the population of microbes. We practice biostimulation by applying appropriate nutrients to the sites contaminated with chlorinated solvents and hexavalent chromium. Now, let's move to bacteria that involve in bioremediation. Pseudomonas and Bacillus subtilis is the most common bacteria that are used in bioremediation of oil spills in the ocean. Both of them are able to live under aerobic and anaerobic conditions, which makes them able to live in extreme environmental conditions such as oils. They have the greatest capacity for hydrocarbon degradation in the presence of crude oil as a carbon source. Thus, that makes Pseudomonas and Bacillus subtilis important in bioremediation process. So, how oil spills are cleaned by using microorganisms? They use enzymes and oxygen in the seawater to break down the ring structures of hydrocarbons in seaborne oil. The end result is that ancient oil has been converted into modern-day bacterial biomass. Hydrocarbons are broken down by bacteria in weeks to months to years. It is depending on the compounds and concentration. This is because the microbes that consume the oil are consumed as part of the local food web, which the carbon and energy contained in the oil are eventually distributed through the food. The end products of aerobic microbes after completely degrading various oil constituents are carbon dioxide and water. All degrading microbes are part of the local food web. They are consumed by other microbes who are then consumed by larger predators. When the oil is gone, the oil degrading microbes stop dividing as quickly because there is less food available, and their abundance eventually returns to pre-spill levels. Next, let's proceed to the disadvantages of bioremediation of oil spills in the ocean. Based on Rademacher M 2008, one of the major disadvantages of bioremediation from marine oil spills is the lengthy procedures called venosa. Oil spills can endanger a wide range of ecosystems, environments, and industries. It also depending on the agency of the cleaning. Bioremediation may not always be the best solution. Other aspects influence whether bioremediation is effective and viable for the cleanup of certain oil spills. It may be impossible for offer other adequate nutrient concentration to oil degrading bacteria depending on where the spill occurred and the conditions of the water. When an oil spills happen offshore, the energy and waves are often substantially higher, which can result in the rapid loss and dilution of nutrients delivered by biostimulation, which is venosa. Besides, there are issues with bioaugmentation, including the competitors that develop between native and imported bacteria, making this is a failed technique of bioremediation. Another problem of bioremediation is the difficulty of conducting field experiments. This is owing to the numerous factors and conditions that can only be controlled in laboratory experiments and cannot be controlled in the field. In conclusions, bioremediation of oil's contaminated environments is a process in which toxic hydrocarbons, heavy metals, and other volatile organic compounds found in fossil fuels are degraded or sequestered using biological pathways within microorganisms or plants. While traditional cleanup methods like chemical or manual containment and removal often produce quick results, bioremediation is less labor-intensive, less expensive, and avoids chemical or mechanical damage. Microbial remediation, phytoremediation, and mycomediation are the three major types of bioremediation used for oil spills. That's all from us. Thanks for watching.